Hey everybody, it's Scott Fisher with Options for Senior Living here. It's Saturday, October the 13th. Joan and I are spending the day at Dayspring United Methodist Church in Tempe. We participated in a successful aging conference today. I got to share today about the journey that families take with us when they go through this process of researching and finding their right senior living and assisted living program for their loved one. It's what Options, I think, over the last couple of years is just another time for us that we get to connect with families and connect with consumers and connect with the general public as we educate them about senior living, the pitfalls of working with senior referral specialists that are not licensed and not regulated. And so it's been a good morning so far. Yeah.
Certainly has. And I'm here as a vendor talking about the need for self-care.
Well, that came up.
Which leads to...
Well, part of our... I want to take you into our conversation from Monday morning. I had just gotten back from a self-care appointed
self-care weekend.
Self-care weekend. Stacey and I had gone to California. And we had a sensational time, and it always feels so refreshing to my heart to get away. We're driving back across the desert, and the phone rings. And it's a former client who needs our help pronto. Mom's been having falls, and we're available to people 24/7. That's intentional. We wouldn't change a thing. The reality of it is that as a business owner, I just need the phone not to ring sometimes, and I don't want to resent the business because we serve in it. But it is, it consumes, and I felt robbed a little bit. I felt like my weekend ended too darn soon. And so, what did you tell me? And how did we talk about that?
Well, and for those of you that are watching this, go back and listen to the words that he used. You know, his intention is to serve and to be there 24/7, but he also feels robbed. And when somebody feels robbed, you build up that resentment, etc., and we don't want that to be happening. So in our conversation, Scott and I have been working together long enough that I know he thrives on self-care and feeding that soul. So what we talked about was the fact that not only for him, but for anyone who is a business leader or an owner, you are on all the time and you need to take care of yourself. And what happens is that you need to take the time to slow down and figure out what's important to you. And for Scott, needing him to go out and start walking in the morning, because that little walk in the morning resets his brain and gets him going and clears his head so much. And we also talked about a bunch of other things for him to do. He likes to paint.
Well, I started
lots of different
yeah,
things.
Stacey gave me lessons to paint this year,
And
and
again,
I found that as a release.
But that came out of our work together.
Yeah.
In that sometimes owners and leaders don't know when to shut it off because they might feel guilty, they might feel resented because something's been stolen from them as well. But at the same time, they've got to serve that need. They've got to get to that greater good for who they are. Otherwise, they can't replenish themselves. They can't refill that cup, and that's vitally important. And to constantly look at that, I mean, the work that Scott and I do, it's part of his regeneration also, and his rejuvenation as far as looking at how those pieces and parts come together. But sometimes leaders and business owners feel that they've got that level of self-importance, that the world's going to fall apart if they aren't there. And sometimes a lesson is that we have to learn how to say no.
What?
I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you have to say no.
I do have to say no. And as Options has gotten better in the last several months because Tammy's becoming more and who Tammy is, because I'm getting out of the way. And Nathan, Carrie Ann, it's happening as I let them be more of themselves. Options as a team is maturing and I think growing as I give them room to be them and step back into some other spaces. So,
and that's vitally important for an owner to think about. But again, in the work that we do, that's what we're looking at. What are the things outside of the work that you do? And that's.
Well, you touched on something that I think maybe even bears more conversation. That is, there is a compulsion in me, and I'm sure others, that run their businesses that it's fear-driven, it's dream-driven. There's a lot of drive to it, but it gets compulsive that we think we can't turn this off, and to trust someone to allow them to speak into our lives and guide us into. Guess what I did Tuesday? I took that walk.
Excellent, I'm so happy.
I followed directions.
Yes,
you guys, thanks for joining us. It's been great to share Saturday with you. It's always my pleasure to hang out with Joan. So thanks, you guys. Have a great afternoon.
And thank you for this opportunity.